plant some seeds today. Take you guys along with us.
We have had this in our garage ready to use for planting for what?
Last year.
It was just last year. It feels like years. And we decided not to plant indoors last year. We had a lot going on, new baby and such, so but we're gonna do it today. What kind of dirt are we using?
This is stuff we got from Fleet Farm. Organic seed starter.
Just kind of using a basic organic potting mix.
So these are the planters we're going to be using. We're going to start with doing tomatoes, and this will be the top. Put on this little greenhouse then. Let's set that aside for now, and see what tomatoes we got going on here.
We have a few varieties of tomatoes we're planting: the Italian Heirloom, Martino's Roma, and Wisconsin Chief, and all three of these are organic and heirloom tomatoes that we're planting. We got these from seedsaversexchange.org. I can list the link down below in the comments. All right, so the containers here came with some little tags where we can write the name of what we're planting right on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and write down, first we're gonna start with these Italian heirlooms. So what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and I'm putting the seeds in each one. I'm putting 1 or 2 seeds in each spot where a plant's going to grow. And I set aside 4 of the little sections, which is 24 tomato plants, for this first set of Italian heirloom tomatoes. What I'm doing is I'm just going ahead and setting it on the top of the packed down dirt that he's already packed, and I'm just kind of covering it up a little bit with some dirt. I don't want them too deep. And you could go ahead and you could save some of your seeds to plant in the future. Especially when we're using heirloom seeds, we're going to harvest some of our seeds for next year rather than doing that. We're going to go ahead and do the Romas next. Next is the Wisconsin Chief tomatoes, and they didn't send quite as many of these as the others. I don't know if you can see them there. We don't have a whole lot of room indoors to germinate our plants since we don't have an indoor greenhouse right now. So we're using a small space in our mudroom that gets a lot of sunlight. So these are going to be sitting on a shelf in there. So we have to kind of decide how many we want. We could probably easily plant double in our garden, but this is just where we're starting at right now.
And you know, we're in Minnesota, so the snow is just starting to melt, and we do a back to Eden garden. And we really enjoy it, and it's been actually really good for us. And this will be 3rd year planting in it. So
yeah, the back to Eden garden method has been awesome for us.
And we'll take you out there and show you when stuff gets a little nicer. Right now there's still some snow in it. Alright, so now that's all planted. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to spray some water in here, and underneath there's a tray. See this second tray here? That'll actually hold the water, and so we can dump some in the center here where this hole is, and the bottom will always be full. So we have to get this all moist. So I got a spray bottle, and we'll spray it. I'll put water in the middle, and we'll start another one.
We're also going to go ahead and save our seed packets. I did write down what the name of the seeds are, but just in case, I've got the information on the back when to transplant them into the garden. I've got that information all here, everything important that we are going to need. If we love one of these tomatoes, we might want to buy more seeds in the future, and we need to know what they are called. So typically we'd water our plants with a watering pitcher. We don't want to drown these little soon-to-be seedlings, so we're going to actually use a spray bottle right now.
Another tip is put warm water in here, or room temperature. You don't want to use cold water. But anyways, they always would say make sure you use water room temperature, because if you use cold water, it'll stunt the growth. So these are all done. So then you put the top on. So I'll follow her, and we're gonna put them on this shelf for now. And then as they grow, we got lights and stuff, and then I'll probably set them up in the garage. But this should work.
Alright, on to the next set. Alright, while he's getting the dirt ready, I went ahead and I picked out what we're going to be planting in these, and we're going to start with our red bell peppers. It says there's 25 seeds in here, so we're going to do the same thing as the tomatoes and set aside a section of 24. Isn't it crazy? That's like just a tiny amount probably of one pepper, and it's going to plant our whole garden.
So I'm gonna plant the green tomatoes.
Tomatillos.
Tomatoes.
It says there's 25. Are there not 25 there?
The seeds are itty bitty.
Oh, and those are gonna go in the middle ones. We're spacing out our peppers with the tomatillos in between in case somehow we forget what seeds are where. One of these things go missing, or the kids decide they're toys or something, we can tell the difference between the peppers and the tomato or tomatillo plants. Our kids like to help us with planting, but it's rest time at our house, and they've all had an exhausting week. It's Saturday, and it's been a long week at school, and just a long week. They're all sleeping right now, so we'll let them plant some things. But
some here too, or just these? There's not enough.
These as well. Oh, there wasn't enough?
Mm-mm.
Shoot. So there were only enough to plant 12 tomatillo plants, so we went ahead and just did that.
So now we're going to plant some cabbage. We're going to do the last 36. They're a little bigger, a little pebble.
So another thing I'm doing is I'm just writing on the back of the seed packet how many plants we're getting out of these, just how many we're getting in the thing, and I can change that to if some of them don't come up. This one I went ahead and wrote down that there's some extra seeds in here for next year. Oh, the sun is shining. Those plants germinating. In about a week to 2 weeks, we should have some little sprouts.
Now we're gonna go and plant some lettuce, right?
Well, he's grabbing those trays. What I'm gonna do with those extra cabbage seeds that we aren't planting this year is I'm gonna go ahead and store them for next year. And I just like to use a glass jar to keep my seeds safe. And you wanna put them somewhere cool. You can even put them in your freezer, but I'm gonna keep them in a cupboard for now until we're sure we have enough planted.
We got these Jiffy Greenhouse from Fleet Farm. They are going to be our lettuce trays. But it wasn't organic dirt, so we're going to take these pucks out and just use our dirt.
You probably can find an organic version if you want to use the little pucks, but we just couldn't find one.
And we also we basically wanted this tray because it'll fit in our windowsill.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and plant our lettuce mix that we got from Seed Savers in one of these, and this is going to sit right in our windowsill. Matt's putting the seeds in. I'm just going to read the back of this package because it has quite a few different lettuces in it. An Australian yellow leaf, a flavorful Forellenschluss. I am probably not pronouncing that correctly. It has a mild Lola Rosa, striking red velvet, and at least 4 more varieties. They don't even tell us exactly what's in there. They call it the cut and come again mix for colorful salads. So you can cut your lettuce and it'll grow right back. Cut some more. So we went ahead and we're going to save our extra to plant some outside, and lettuce needs cooler weather, so we're going to plant some at the beginning of the season and hopefully at the end of the season as well.
Alright, so now it's done. I'm going to put it in the windowsill. I'll take you with me. Got bought this for my wife last year, Lily, and it's supposed to be an annual. And look at there, we got some sprouts. All right, so anyways,
Alright, so I'm going to be planting cilantro and basil in the other little window box so that I just have it handy for cooking. I don't usually like to plant 2 different items in one box like this, and the reason I'm okay with this is because I can easily tell the difference between basil and cilantro. The leaves look very different, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to go ahead and make some holes and get these in. Cilantro is typically grown outside, and I'm just trying this for the first time inside. It does get really tall, so I'm a little nervous that it might be a little too much for this little container. So most of it will be basil. Our basil grows so well in our garden as well. What I like to do is when we just get a little too much, is I'll go ahead and pick a whole bunch of it, make some pesto, and put it in the freezer. If you're not familiar with pesto, It's typically made with basil. Sometimes I'll make it with cilantro. And I believe it uses pine nuts. We usually just use walnuts to make ours, because that's a little bit more affordable. I really don't want to waste my basil seeds, so I'm just putting one in each little hole, and I will plant the rest outside. Alright, so I've got my basil taking up most of the container, and now I'm going to add some cilantro to the end. Cilantro seeds are actually also known as coriander seeds and used in cooking. So since cilantro is typically grown outside and it grows well outside for us, I don't want to use all my seeds in here. I'm planting about a half dozen or so seeds. And then I am going to go ahead and label which is which. Not because I won't be able to tell when they're coming up, but because it's exciting when we get those first sprouts to know what it is. Alright, so we're going to go put this one on the windowsill. Matt went ahead and filled up a pot of dirt for me for my mint for those mojitos. So we're going to go ahead and put the mint seeds right in here. These came in a really tiny bag because they're really tiny seeds. They're supposed to be planted really far apart, so I just put a few seeds in here that were kind of stuck to my hand as I was getting them out there. I also went ahead and dumped the bag when I was dumping them into my hand right over a bowl so I could save those little seeds.
Hope you like what you saw and follow us along. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be coming out some more videos as soon as these start sprouting, and we'll show you the progress along the way.
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions down in the comments or any videos you want us to make or see, or any plants you think we forgot to plant. We've still got more to go.
Willing to try anything.
Glad you got to see us again.